So it looks like Sony is paying some third-party developers and publishers to block their games from ever coming to Xbox and Xbox Game Pass. But that doesn't really sound like anything new, does it? Let's look into this. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today I would like to talk about console exclusives, and not only first-party exclusives, but really third-party exclusives. This is not a new concept, so I'm not really even sure why that particular news is getting heated, or people are getting heated over this particular news lately. I see a lot of people talking about it, being angry at Sony for doing that, but really it's not only Sony doing that, really. Like Microsoft does it as well, not to the same extent, of course. And so Xbox would actually have to pay way more money to keep some games off of PlayStation, because PlayStation is a leader, and that these developers and publishers actually do make more money there. I'm not saying that all of them, but most of them probably. So this concept of keeping even third-party games off of a particular platform is nothing new, really. Like, even back in like PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2 era, obviously some developers would make games only for one particular platform, whether that's Nintendo, PlayStation, or Xbox, without any kind of exclusivity deals, right? Good example would be Hellblade, for example. Hellblade initially was only released for PlayStation and PC, but the main reason behind that was the fact that they haven't had enough resources to do it simultaneously for like Xbox, for example, or Nintendo too. Now, that game later came out for Xbox and even Nintendo Switch, right? But initially it was a PlayStation console exclusive. But that's a different story to a lot of other big IPs, for example, like Final Fantasy. Right now, Sony is paying a lot of money to Square Enix for keeping that game off of Xbox, and I understand why people are angry. I understand that not everyone has a PlayStation or maybe PC to go and play these games. And even though like some people would really love to play Final Fantasy, for example, 16 or like 7 remake, but it's not only about that game. There's plenty of other games, especially on Japanese market. And I think all this talk about Sony's paying developers for keeping their games off of Xbox is just basically reaction to what's going on between like the Microsoft and Sony when it comes to Xbox Activision acquisition, and Sony trying to block that deal. Looks like they will fail, but that kind of triggered Microsoft a little bit, because they did lobby now the Washington politicians to actually do something about the fact that especially in Japanese market, Sony is a leader there, and they do have they do pay developers to keep games off of Xbox. I'm not even sure if that actually makes sense in Japan. When it comes to Japanese market, I guess that it makes sense for games that are global. So games that would release for like everywhere, really, not only in Japan, because in Japan, there's hardly any Xboxes selling there, right? So it's not really Xbox is no threat to like Sony or Nintendo there. But when it comes to European market, or especially North America market, I do know that they do have exclusives. The big difference between, I guess, Xbox and PlayStation is that Sony does more of these exclusive deals, right? They do have marketing deals, and whenever they have a marketing deal, they always have some sort of like exclusive content. or they just block the game from Xbox completely. That's the case with Final Fantasy. I mean, Final Fantasy 16, I was expecting this game to come out for PC day one, but looks like that's not really the case. I mean, I'm sure it will come out to PC. It's just a matter of time, but like for now, that's just on PlayStation exclusive, like a full exclusive. You cannot play that game anywhere else. I mean, you won't be able to play that game anywhere else this year other than PlayStation 5. And, you know, so like people are kind of getting angry about it, but like that's nothing new, right? Like this is the way this business operated for like decades now. It's just like, I think that all this discussion surrounding Xbox Activision acquisition just made people like sensitive, I guess, over like what can be exclusive. And I don't get me wrong, like I understand that the lines between these console exclusives or exclusives overall are kind of blurring out, because like, Xbox literally have no exclusives. Unless you start counting some older games like Halo 5, for example, it's still not on PC. But other than that, like, yes, in case of Xbox, you can actually talk about console exclusives, but not full exclusives anymore, because Microsoft Xbox games are being released for both Xbox and PC at the same time. I think the only game like last year that was released for Xbox only was that Remedy game, which kind of flopped, Crossfire X. That was the one, right? Other than that, all games are on PC too. And like even right now, a lot of PlayStation games are coming to PC, like a little bit later, a lot of times, but still. So like, like all these exclusivity deals and stuff, I think it's going to be more about like console exclusives or basically just exclusive content, depending on which console manufacturer will have the marketing rights for. Like if you look at PlayStation, for example, last couple of games, like Hogwarts Legacy, they've got like some exclusive content there, like extra mission or something like that. And I could probably name some other games too that has that too, like Marvel's Avengers had like Spider-Man exclusive character there. There's probably a couple of other games like that. And so, yeah, it is what it is. So the big difference between Xbox and PlayStation is just that I guess PlayStation does it more, does have more games like that, basically. But the thing is, it's not that Sony is not allowing a developer from releasing that on other platforms. It's just like, they get compensated, right? So if a developer for like some Japanese developer will get that offer from Sony, and that particular sum of money would compensate for lost sale on Xbox, which probably not going to be high anyway with some of these Japanese games, then yeah, they probably will go with that, right? That's the way that's happening. And I don't really understand why people are so angry about it, because like it takes two to the tango, we say here in Poland, right? So it's not like Sony can block a developer from putting their game on other platforms, right? It's a mutual agreement, right? Like there's two sides to the story. There's Sony obviously paying for keeping that game off of Xbox or Xbox Game Pass, but on the other hand, you've got a developer or a publisher that is agreeing to that, so he got a sum of money to compensate for lost sale. And it sounds like if they do that, they must be happy about it, right? So really, like, there's nothing really to get angry about here. It's just like silly that after all these decades, now all of a sudden people are actually mad that Sony is paying for keeping some games off of Xbox, for exclusivity, literally. Nothing new there, really, guys. I think like maybe recently, like I guess with Final Fantasy, I mean, with Final Fantasy, that's an interesting story because usually both Xbox and PlayStation would keep some games off of competing platform for like 6 months, a year max probably. But with some big games like Final Fantasy, for example, looks like that exclusivity is going to be longer. Even Forspoken, which kind of flopped anyway, but so nobody really cares about that game anymore. But even Forspoken got 2 years exclusivity deal. And I mean, at this point, I'm not even sure if they will be interested in converting that game to Xbox anyway. It's on PlayStation 5 and PC. You can play it there, but like when, like in 2 years' time, when that exclusivity deal will expire, will Square Enix still be interested in releasing that game, porting that game to Xbox at all? Who knows? Maybe not, right? So even if these deals will expire, it's not guaranteed that this game will show up on Xbox, right? Because sometimes it makes no sense, like, you know. But hey, at the end of the day, like if you look at Square Enix and what they do, like a lot of these remasters, like Final Fantasy remasters, like Final Fantasy X remaster, 12 remaster, 13 remaster, they were only available for PlayStation for a year or two, and then all of a sudden they all showed up in Xbox, on Xbox and in Xbox Game Pass. So who knows, right? Like a few years from now, you know, we may actually get these games, but the question is, will anyone on Xbox still be interested in playing these games? Some people will for sure, but you know, is there going to be enough people interested to invest in a port? We will see. But anyway, guys, so I don't think there's any big news here. It's just basically people, you know, basically getting heated over nothing, in my opinion. I mean, not that it's heated over nothing, but it's nothing new. It's not that something totally new, groundbreaking happened here, right? It's you know, these companies have been doing that for like decades now, not even years, decades, and like nobody saw that as a big problem, and all of a sudden now it's a big problem. So I don't know. Anyway, guys, so that's the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comment section below what you think about it. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I will see you all in the next one. Take care.